Smash Brothers is a game that means a lot to me, some of the most fun I've had in any game ever. There's many things that fans of the series look forward to, but the big thing is new characters. Who's going to be the new and shiny fighter added to the roster? I don't know about you, but I love hearing people talk about who they want to see, and any ideas on what their most wanted characters could do is added to Smash. I just find it really fun to hear about other characters and what other people want to see if they got into Smash, and who they want to see get into Smash. Gee, if only there was like a YouTube series out there where somebody took a lot of their most wanted characters, niche or not, and just talked about them and see what they could do. Perfect. Special Smash is a series run by my good friend Anonymous, right here on YouTube. Some of my Versus fans in the audience might recognize that name, and that was because he was the voice behind Smash Bracket characters, namely Sephiroth, Ryu, and Wolf. He talks about certain characters and how they could be in Smash, not just movesets, but even more minor things that people wouldn't think of, like costume, stage, series icon, and much more. All of these really crude yet super charming doodles of the moves. I really love this show. It's one of my favorites to watch on YouTube, and despite an upload schedule so inconsistent and make JonTron blush, it gets super excited to see every time a new episode comes out. So today, I wanted to rank all 12 episodes of the show. Keep in mind, these are all just my opinions, and if you disagree, that's totally fine. Tell me what your ranking of the episodes is down in the comments below. And speaking of down below, I'll have a link to the series in the description, so you can go check it out. Please do. You will have so much fun with it. But without further ado, let's get started with this. Boom Boom. Well, he's pretty cool. He's a really neat boss whenever he shows up. I wish he'd get more love in the Mario games. Hell, Pom Pom got into Super Mario Party and Boom Boom got nothing. So does the Special Smash have something to show a good chunk of love to him? Not really, but that's not saying much, since every Special Smash episode is a love letter. Something about this episode just feels off. It's probably Anonymous' line deliveries. He doesn't sound passionate and very excited to talk about the character like usual, and instead it just sounds like he's covering the character out of the necessity of needing to do a Mario character for the 35th anniversary. The moveset itself was good, even if there wasn't anything too special about it. If I need to comment on one thing, I feel like the gimmick added where his special attacks get better after 66% was taken is kinda tacked on and unnecessary. Like, it's not bad, but it doesn't really feel like it was necessary at all. Like, this is a good episode, but it's not really that good compared to the rest of the series. This is the only episode to feature the goated Spike, though. So I mean, I guess it's a 10 out of 10 by default.
Hello, I like money.
Monopoly is one of the biggest games out there, so if you ever got a non-video game rep in Smash, you could make a decent argument for Pennybags being the most deserving fourth party rep. Honestly, I'm kind of happy to say that this series premiere is one of the weakest episodes, because that just means most things after it are really good, because I honestly think the episode is pretty enjoyable still. I like the incorporation of the player pieces. A Monopoly moveset would feel incomplete without those. I really love the gimmick. It's small enough where it doesn't completely make or break the character, but it's relevant enough where it doesn't just feel like a throwaway comment, but rather an integral part of the moveset. And the gimmick itself is also super cool and creative. Also, something about these move animations are just oddly charming and hilarious to me, especially up air. Not sure if that was intentional or not, but it's there. So, honestly, I feel like the only issue I have with the moveset is the stage. Personally feels a bit odd. Like, I get what Anonymous is going for, but at the same time, I think just a giant Monopoly board would stand out a lot more and allow for more creativity than just a boardwalk. I just really like the episode a lot, and it's absolutely insane to me how it's only number 11 on this list. That should go to show how great the episodes coming up are. Die! 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 Deathborn is such a cool idea for a moveset. Just wish it wasn't boring as sin. Yeah, I'm honestly not a big fan of the actual moveset itself. Maybe it was because I was kinda tired when watching the episode, but it just kinda struggled to keep my attention. One second he was talking about the forward tilt, the next he was talking about the final smash. I remember most of the stuff between that, but more than any other episode, this just feels so boring and forgettable. So what brings it above Pennybags? Well, simply put it, I really love everything that is in the moveset. All the extra stuff after the final smash keeps my attention start to finish. It introduced classic mode routes, which I love because it shows the extra attention to detail in all the movesets, and the episode even got me interested in checking out F-Zero GX more than I already was. Hopefully GameCube Online comes sooner or later so I can try this great game out someday. I really have borderline nothing to say on it, so yeah, just a great episode. Holy crap, the Maximizers are so much better than I remember. I remember this being the worst episode of the whole show, and just a boring mess, but on a rewatch, it got so much better than what I originally thought the episode was. In terms of what it was, and what it actually is, it's like night and day. American somehow manages to cover 3 characters in the same time, and he would a single... That was terrible, but that was such a screw up. I kind of want to keep it in. He manages to talk about 3 characters at once, but somehow balances them all so that they feel like completely natural, and not just 3 episodes of the show completely spliced into one episode that didn't need to be a full episode on its own, and actually makes them all coherent and work amongst one another. I like how both the Toxtricity moves are implemented, and I like how Rillaboom is being Rillaboom because Rillaboom is a chat. Obstagoon is an all-arounder, Toxtricity is a specialist, and Rillaboom is just the big, slow, heavy hitter. It's honestly perfect and just how I'd want it to be. The only reason this isn't higher is just because I find myself liking the other episodes more than this for one reason or another, and also just because it was a little boring at times, because, you know, an episode that I used to think was awful isn't just going to be perfect after a second watching. Yeah, no. I don't have a transition clip for this. I cannot believe all the early episodes are ranked so low. Rarely does that ever happen for a show. Crypto is good. I like it a lot. It covers the characters well and references a bunch of stuff from his home games, such as The Probe. Yeah, maybe I should scrap this video. YouTube might age restrict it. Yeah, overall, I really like this episode. Not too terribly much to say, just probably the most special Smash episode ever special a Smash. Clown Crypto is cursed, though, the best way. I love and hate this thing's mere existence.
Number 7.
God, Nerdmus is gonna kill me for having this episode so low. Emerald is easily the most experimental episode. Not in terms of the character. He's a cool character, not talked about much, rarely ever in Smash speculation. But rather than that, the presentation. Instead of the usual whiteboard with crude drawings describing the attacks, we now have full-blown animations on the battlefield to help picture the attack, all wrapped up in a parody of a Sakurai Presents. Hell, it's even twice as long as the average episode of Smash Bracket. I actually just said Smash Bracket like a dumbass. Like the average episode of Special Smash. All the sounds like he was doing the best episode. All of the sounds like he was doing the best episode of the entire show. So why is it only halfway up my list? Well, it's simple. It didn't really work for me. I liked the idea and concept, but in execution it made everything feel kinda slow. And it doesn't even stay this way for the whole episode. After the final Smash, all the extra stuff is told in the standard Special Smash style, which is good because it makes everything go at a standard and good pace, but it feels like he should have gone all the way with the whole Sakurai Presents parody. Maybe it was the budgetary thing. I couldn't imagine animating as smooth as it was particularly cheap, but I don't know, it just makes everything feel even more weird. Even if I'm kind of mixed on the presentation of the video, the contents inside of it are all still top quality Special Smash goodness. Nothing to complain there. I love the costumes a lot. They're some of the best in the show, and the gimmick where he has twice as many specials as the average fighter is super creative and a cool idea. I honestly think if this was made into a standard Special Smash format, it would be in my top 3. But that formatting change just drags the whole thing down to a crawl and makes it really hard to go back to for me. Though it was still a pretty fun time on my first watch.
If he shoots you, you'll probably die.
Hey, wanna hear a joke? What do Ghosts and Special Smash have in common? They both feature Marowak and came back from the dead. Yeah, this episode is just simply fun. Seeing a more unique Pokemon moveset than most of Smash itself and fan movesets. Anytime I ever see a moveset, it's usually just adapting moves from the Pokemon games into a fighting game moveset. However, Marowak takes a different approach, and while it does have some moves, it mostly focuses on the ghostly aspects of the deceased Marowak from Lavender Town. There weren't many jokes that stood out to me. I'm having a really hard time thinking of any, actually. But it doesn't really mind me because it just makes it an oddly serious video, which in and of itself is kind of ironic since, you know, it's Pokemon. I don't really have an ending to this. It's just a really good episode. I wish I had more to say on it. It's just quality. Only reason it's not higher, I just think the other movesets are better. So Hades, it's a good game. So Zagreus, it's a good moveset. This is such a banger. All the moves are good. I loved Nerdimus talking for a minute just to explain the gun. Him boiling down the up special too. It's a Shoryuken. I honestly have no complaints. Also, it mentions the goated Skelly, so there's no way it could have been anywhere in the bottom half. Also, the running gag during the episode about how Aphrodite design isn't for good girls and boys of all ages was pretty funny, I won't lie. You might ask if I love the moveset this much, why isn't it higher? Well, simple. The costumes are a bit too much. Changing the outfit is perfectly fine. Changing Zagreus' skin color was a bit too much, not gonna lie. What did they do to you, Aries? My god. If the costumes were just toned down a bit, a little, yeah, I think this would have placed them much higher on my list, arguably in the top 3, and if I'm being honest. But the costumes just weigh it down that much for me, to the point where I have to barely put it in the top 5. Though, this game did get me into Hades, which is now one of my new favorite indie games ever, so I at least have that to thank. Now this is a special Smash. Something I love about this show is whenever it introduces me to a series that I know little to nothing about, but now become super invested in. You know, like Zagreus or Deathborn. And while Aoni isn't on that same level, Nerdimus did a great job not only making the moveset really fun, but also getting me interested in checking out the source material. Hell, I'd even go as far to say that if I was trying to get someone invested in the series, this would be the episode I recommended to them to check out first, because of how well it balances making a moveset while still keeping a bunch of references from the source material that would make it a fan excited to see, but also make someone like myself, a person with no prior knowledge of Aoni, still find them super neat to look at. If I had one issue with this moveset, like Zagreus, I thought the costumes were a bit too far. Aoni with hair just looks wrong to me, so I felt like it would have been better if the costumes based off the protagonist were just simple palette swaps and nothing more. Aside from that, this moveset was really just a great time from start to finish, and I'm pretty sure this is Nerdimus' favorite character he's tackled on the show that is an Emerald, so I really just called him Emerald. Emerald. So honestly, I'm really happy that this episode was able to be one of the best of the whole show. Real shame that it's not as good as the top 3, though.
Who the f is this?
You know, it's been almost 3 months since this episode dropped, and it still boggles the mind that it's one of the best episodes of the show and is about a damn soccer ball. Now, this has got to be the dumbest and most niche character Nerdimus has ever covered, and it might ever cover. And honestly, that kind of adds to the charm of how unpredictable a Nerdimus will be. A Nerdimus almost never covers popular characters in the show. Almost all of them are pretty obscure to the general public, and no character better shows us than Ball 3D. He is such an out-of-the-box character that I never would have thought I would hear anyone talk about ever. But here we are. I actually owned and played a fair bit of the game even before the episode dropped, and it's actually pretty fun. I highly recommend getting it on Steam whenever you've got the time. It's only $2 and regularly goes on sale. Anyways, I should probably stop being a shill and actually talk about why the moveset is kind of good. It's the perfect kind of unorthodox moveset that sounds really bad in concept, but once you break down the moveset, it's actually really fun. I don't think I'd main him or anything, but I would still heavily appreciate the fact that he's in this game because, you know, it's ball 3D, and it's such an unorthodox and unusual character, and the moveset itself is also so strange and weird. And also the costumes, so good. I love them all. They're all very vibrant and colorful, and I especially love the Smash Brothers and Poland flag one. That was a really cool reference. I didn't think he'd go that far. So why isn't this 1 or 2? That's just kind of the fact that I like the other ones more. What can I say?
Well, slow cooking's about to pay off fast with some deliciously good deals on my amazing Popeye's chicken.
This was number 1 for so damn long, you have no idea. But when I was looking back at the list, I honestly felt like this would be the top spot. I just couldn't see it. It's really great. It wouldn't be number 2 if it wasn't. But I just think number 1 is just a little bit better. Well, enough bashing on the episode. Popeye the Sailor Man is easily my favorite character that this ever show has covered. I'm gonna keep that in. Popeye is easily my favorite character the show has ever covered. No one else really tops him. And the closest character that gets there is probably Zagreus, who's not even in my top like 20 or 30. So yeah, there's so few characters I love more than Popeye, man. And as a kid, I just loved watching the cartoons or reading some of the comic strips, and even today I still love going back and revisiting some of those older ones. So why isn't this number 1? Well, it's simple. While the moveset is terrific, the costumes are all really lovely and great to look at. Yeah, there's just one move in particular I'm not a big fan of, and it's the forward air. It just feels so not Popeye that it feels so wrong to be in a Popeye moveset. If it was a little more in character, then it would probably be higher up on the list, but as it stands, I'm just not a big fan of it. I know that's like the most petty reason ever, but what can I say? I'm a bit of a petty kind of guy. And to think, the one thing that could beat one of my favorite characters in fiction was an elephant? Yeah, elephant is the best moveset Nerdmus has ever done. I'd say it's easily the best, but that'd be a lie, since honestly, I humored the idea of every episode from the top 4 being number 1 at some point. They're all just that amazing. But something about Elephant just had a certain level of passion and charm to it that none of the other episodes had, aside from maybe Emerald. The humor is on point. I found the moves very all great. Yeah, that's how English works. I found them all to be really good fun. And the music, I never really focused on the music up until now, but it's great in this episode in particular. I don't know what to say. It's just a really great soundtrack. Also, I love how colorful the stage is. Oh, it's so good. And I really cannot think of a single flaw about this episode. Everything about it is just so perfect, and it feels like the perfect Smash. Everything about it just feels like the perfect Special Smash episode. I don't really know much more I can say. So, if a Nerdimus can top this, that'll be really amazing. But if anyone can, I'm sure it is him. And that was the list. Not a single bad episode in the lot. Again, I cannot recommend this series enough. Go support a Nerdimus and Special Smash. I'll leave a link to both of those in the description below. Oh, and before I go, there were 2 episodes on Stage Ideas Only, Powder Game, and Oregon Trail. They're both pretty good. I prefer Oregon Trail personally, though. And that's about it. Thank you for watching, like, comment, and subscribe, and thanks to a Nerdimus for joining in on the collab.
What? I never got to say anything. How was this a collab?
Well, you're here right now, and you'll probably be in the thumbnail. Sounds like a collab to me.
That's not how it works.
Sure it is.
Get out of my house!
Well then.